Good morning, everybody, and to everybody, good morning. Do me a favor, invite somebody, share, and I'll be back right after this.
Coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time or a crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on. Time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.
And good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hopefully, you are doing well this morning. It's another great day to be on this side of the dirt. If you're on the upside of the dirt, you are doing marvelous. That doesn't necessarily mean that everything is going quite your way. It doesn't mean that you have everything that you believe you or even that you desire, but it does mean he gave you breath in your lungs. And the breath you're breathing is an indication that you're alive. And since you are alive, be thankful for that. Because as long as you have breath, you have hope, and you can change what's not and what is. So, hey, good morning. What it is, shout it. What it is. All right. So this morning we're talking about balance, maturity, and we're talking about motives. There's so many people that do a lot of different things, and you contaminate the work of your hands by the position of your heart. Your motives are wrong. One of the things that I've learned in life, do me a favor, invite somebody to share. One of the things that I've learned in life is that it's not just what you do, it's also why you do it. Nicole S., good morning. John Quill, hello. Good morning. I do apologize that, y'all haven't really seen me that much this week. Truthfully, I've been sick. I wasn't feeling good. And, you get sick in today's time, you automatically think you got COVID. Well, I don't have COVID, thank God, and I'm feeling a whole lot better. But I had migraines, sore throats, nothing else. I didn't lose my sense of taste, feel, touch, just a migraine and a slight sore throat. And I'm okay. I do not have COVID. Andrea Mitchell, good morning. So, balance, maturity, and motives is what we're talking about this morning. So, on the surface, so much of what we do is judged by what we see. You do a good job at work, the boss is there, people are watching you do the right thing, but the moment everyone goes home, whatever you do in the absence of people is really the focal point and the position of your heart. So if you're not working in excellence when nobody's around, you are a slothful worker. And you're going to be judged not just for what you did, but for the motives, the reasonings behind what you did. Now, there's an ongoing conversation that I'm having right now with a buddy of mine. He just caught me off guard, said some things that has me thinking. He has me thinking. It's a private conversation. I'm not going to open it up here, but it really has me thinking. One of the things that I try to do, and this is what I encourage everybody to do, that you grow in the capacity of understanding by being able to digest information and information that you may or may not agree with. So many of us, we get haughty and mad because someone says something that we don't agree to. I think when there's a disagreement, that is really the classroom of all understanding, because you cannot grow or enlarge your capacity of understanding if everyone agrees with you, if everyone believes like you. So, a buddy of mine, we had a conversation about you being the true you being the religious you. And in this conversation, some of these ideas just begin to swell up in my head. And this is why I'm sharing this morning. First, let's begin with balance. There's a scripture in the Bible that says a false balance is abomination unto the Lord, meaning in everything that we do, you've got to find the balance. So not only are you going to be judged for what you do, you're going to be judged on why you did it. And what brings us into maturity is being able to process knowledge. So knowledge is to know. That's where we get knowledge from, to know. It's information we've learned, information we've experienced, things that we've heard. That is, or it puts us in the know. Now, being in the know is one thing, but now you can have accumulated knowledge and not know how to use it, and it make you a fool. So what gives you wisdom, knowledge is to know, but wisdom is how to use what you know. Wisdom gives you balance. I remember good morning, everybody. It's so good to see you all. Yolanda Brooks, good morning. Vonda Oliver, good morning. Denise Smith, good morning. Good to see you. I got to give some love to Denise Smith. Y'all don't mind. Starlight, good morning. Andrea Mitchell, good morning. Good morning to everybody that is on. If I did not call your name, it's simply because I didn't see you. I would never overlook you on purpose. All right, so wisdom brings us balance. You can't have balance without wisdom. What gives you the balance is knowing how to use your knowledge, how to use what you know. That's wisdom. There's a story in the Bible where there were two mothers who had just given birth to their child. They had just given birth. One of the mother's baby died overnight. So the mother of the dead baby, she went into the room and stole the other mother's baby. When the other mother woke up, she knew her baby, and she went to the king when they stood to decide who the real mother was. So the king says, I'm going to take a sword, cut the baby in half. I'm going to give you one half, and I'm going to give you one half, since I don't know who the real mother is. The real mother cried out, great king, please don't do that. Let her have the baby. Now listen to this wisdom. The king knew that the one that cried for the baby and said, don't cause any harm, was the real mother, and he awarded her with the baby. Wisdom unlocks truth. When a person operates, flows in wisdom, they have the ability to unlock a level of truth that knowledge cannot explain. One of the problems in our society is that we have knowledge, but we don't have wisdom. Everybody knows, everybody's building platform to share what they know. But the problem with knowing without understanding how to use what you know, that's not wisdom. And wisdom will bring you into balance. Knowledge brings you into know, but wisdom brings you into knowledge. And there are a lot of people who are brilliant. They are smart. They have information that is beyond their years. But because they don't have wisdom, they cannot process the information and they don't know how to distribute it. So wisdom brings us balance, and it's balance that brings us maturity. I remember when I was young, I started preaching, believe it or not, at 18 years of age. Started preaching at 18 years of age. They put me over all type of youth groups to preach to the youth. I was doing Bible studies on the campus at the church where I was. And they recognized, the church that I was in at the time, that I was an up-and-coming minister of that church. One Sunday night, they turned me loose. Boy, they let me preach. And we didn't have Sunday night service. The church's New Covenant. We didn't have, but they would have special Sunday night services. And this particular Sunday night service was a special. And they turned me loose. And man, I preached. I talked about praise and the power of praise and what praise would do. And I preached. And you have to understand, at this time, I was about 17, 18. It was a predominantly white church at the time. And I took my Church of God in Christ blood and I sprayed that white church. I did. Until the pastor started having meetings with me. And there was a position in the church that they wanted to put me in. They wanted to make me the pastor of worship. I was only 18. They had a minister of music at the time. Some things were going on, and they wanted me to replace him. Well, it was the wisdom, even in that meeting, that God had given me that caused them to be impressed, because even though I was a teenager, there was a level of wisdom that I had and was operating in that put me above my peers. Now, I said that to say this. Wisdom will teach you and give you light in places where you have no experience or understanding. It is. It's the wisdom of God. This is one of the reasons why I tell people I don't believe you have to kiss up, suck up. You don't have to bow down to people. You don't. What you do need is wisdom, because wisdom brings you into balance, and balance brings us into maturity. So David said, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, but when I became a man, I put away, I think that was David, is he David or Paul, one of them boys. I put away childish things, because after you've gone through some of the same things over and over and over again, it's those lessons. If you're learning as you are growing, learning as you are going, it is those lessons that teaches us wisdom. We're able to draw wisdom from experience. We're able to draw wisdom from good teaching. But it's the wisdom that brings the balance, and it's balance that brings us into maturity. Maturity is being able to use wisdom. And it doesn't necessarily come with age. This is why you got some old fools out there, just old, foolish. And no matter how many times they hit the brick wall, they keep trying, not because they're determined and they're consistent or persistent at being consistent or consistent at being persistent. Has nothing to do with the energy or drive. When you do the same thing expecting different results, you're immature. You're underdeveloped. So we have to pray for wisdom. If any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. If you have, let me tell you this, because the human palate, the human mind operates in its own realm of understanding. So my ability to process what you say has everything to do with my understanding. So I'm going to filter whatever you say to me. I'm going to filter it through the system of my understanding, right? And in filtering through my understanding, I'm going to draw out what my understanding gives me based on what I believe you are saying. Now watch. If the processor is off, if my thinking is off, or it is not geared to understand beyond my understanding, I'll never be able to grab wisdom. Let me say it a different way. Because this is what I believe that this happens to us. Most people communicate to be understood instead of understanding to communicate. Duchess O'Neill, good morning. Teresa Bryant, always, Teresa. Thank you. Good morning. I'm going to say that again. Most people communicate to be understood. The reason you're talking, you want people to understand you. You want people to see your side. You want people to see what you are saying. But wisdom teaches you, you don't communicate to be heard or understood. You communicate to understand. So if you're talking and I'm not listening because I have this pre-registered thought in my head that I'm trying to deliver, my mind and the focal point of my attention is on what I have to communicate. So you're talking, but I can't hear you because I'm rehearsing my own thoughts. So here's what I've done. I've unplugged from hearing, and what I'm going to communicate is the source of the conversation. So I am not listening to communicate. I am communicating to be heard. So no matter what you say, I'm not going to hear it because that's not where my mind is. My mind is focused on what I have to say. This is why there are so many arguments. There's so many arguments because we seek to be heard. Think about it. There's not a person on the planet that can tell you when they're in conversation with me, I'm not listening. In fact, most people, when I'm communicating with them, they have to check to make sure I'm still there because it's so quiet. Pickett, you still there? Yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening. Because in order for me to process what you are saying, I can't be talking and I can't have my mind in other places. This is maturity in understanding. We get so geared up with our own thoughts and the arrogance of being heard that we interrupt, override, and walk over what a person is saying because we are communicating the narrative of our own soul. Words trigger emotions. Say it again. Words trigger emotions. Certain things that are spoken to you, it's going to trigger how you feel. There's an emotional component that's involved with communication, with hearing. So when a person say the wrong thing, trigger the wrong emotion, you are now in an emotional state, and you're not going to communicate what's being said. You're going to communicate and operate out of the emotion that's been triggered. So it takes maturity to bring balance, to take a step back and say, you know what, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. You regurgitate back to the person what they're saying to make sure that you are comprehending what they're communicating and don't allow your emotions to get in the way. Here's what happens to most of us, and this is why we're ineffective in communication, is we allow the emotional component to be triggered to the place that it is now ruling us. And when your emotions are in the lead, your understanding is in the back. I'll let that permeate for a minute. And there's nothing mystical about it. It's simple. You have to have you have to have emotional intelligence to communicate in excellence. I'll say that again. You have to have emotional intelligence to communicate in excellence. These are the things that wisdom teaches you. So the very next time you get in a conversation with someone, your goal is to understand what they are saying. Your goal should not be to respond. It's not the goal. This is how we miss each other. We misunderstand each other. Because if I'm speaking to be heard, I'm speaking to understand, that has the focal point of my attention. So I'm not listening. Because you can't listen and speak at the same time. One has to be ahead. You want to settle an argument? I can promise you, whoever is speaking to be heard is the one losing the argument. You cannot bring your emotions to the table when you are seeking understanding. So the person that is communicating, there are two things that determine how I receive it. There are two things that there are two things that is used whether you can articulate it or not, whether you've thought about it this way or not. There are two things that are happening when a person is communicating that's going to determine how you receive it, if you receive it. The first is timing, the timing of the conversation. What mood are you in? What's going on in your head? What are you processing in your soul? Timing is everything, because if you catch me at the wrong time, I may say something I don't mean because the timing is off. It's time. And the second thing that is a determining factor on what we receive, how we receive, if we receive, is tone. You can be speaking the truth, but if your tone is off, it shuts me down. I'll give you an example. I'm not proud of this, but it is something that I had to learn from. And a couple of friends of mine brought it up yesterday. Myself, the late, great, my little brother, Orion Benjamin Reddick, and my little brother, Fred Anthony Webster, we all worked together on a job. It was for a school. And We were counselors for that school, and the director of that school had called me into the office to have a conversation. And the conversation that she was having with me, her tone was off. She's cursing and saying what she'll do, and if I don't do X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to say it sounded to me, now watch, it sounded to me that she called me a nigger. Now, the reason I say it sounded to me is that there are a lot of things that has to happen in order for me to give you clarity on what she said. She didn't speak it out. It was mumbled, but this is my perception. Now, here's the thing. I could be wrong. Here's why. She mumbled it. I thought I heard it. But the reason I'm not sure it's what I heard is because I was also in my feelings at her tone. There are a lot of times when we're communicating, we think we hear something because we're listening through the ear of our emotions. Your emotions will throw off your processor. But if you're so arrogant where you can never be wrong, you would never acknowledge that there's a possibility you are wrong, and you will go with what you think you heard. And there's a possibility the person you're communicating to did not say what you thought they said. You're just hearing through your emotions. Well, I was wrong because of what I thought I heard. I reacted. And I said to her, she was a Caucasian woman, "What did you say to me?" In the moment, I don't know if it was the expressions on my face. I said, "What did you say to me?" And I looked at her eye to eye. She was sitting in her desk kind of like this, and I'm on the other side of the desk standing up. I put my hands on the front of the desk. I say, "What did you just call me? Did you call me the N-word?" I'm pushing the desk as I was speaking. This is what she said. What are you talking about? Now the bully turned into the victim, giving you the power of words, timing, and tone. Now, she was the aggressor the entire 15 minutes I was in that office. And she is throwing her weight around. And she's saying some things to me that in leadership management, you should never say to a team member or to someone that works for you. But she's throwing her weight around, and I took it. I took it because I had kids to take care of. Opportunities were slim, especially to make what I was making. I felt I had to take it until she said the wrong word. So in communicating, we have to measure our time. We have to measure our tone. And we have to be careful to articulate the true communication of our heart. So many times when we are communicating, we are saying what we know, but not necessarily speaking to where a person can understand. So you have what I call house language. Let me give you house language. When the home is called, I say, "What up, boy?" What it is. That's house language. To be more assertive in my vocabulary, to bring some clarity to house language, it's colloquialisms. It's like saying hello and what's up. It's the same thing. I had a homeboy that when he answers the phone to everybody, "What up, fool?" Now, is he being literal in calling you a fool? No. No, it's a figure of speech. It's just how he communicates. Now watch. A lot of times we take house language outside of our circle, outside of our house, and we try and use it to communicate in the open field to a bunch of people who've not been exposed to our level of understanding. Now they can draw offense based on what we're saying without knowing it's just house language. It's not their fault that they misunderstood you because they responded to what you said. So you have to make sure, this is what wisdom teaches you. You know who you're communicating to and you meet them based on their level of understanding of you. I'm a born again believer. I am. I'm a man that believes in faith. I believe in speaking in tongues as the Spirit give utterance. But tongues is not for the workplace. Let me tell you something. Some of you born again believe, you make it hard for us. There's a reason they're laughing at, you're sitting at your desk speaking in tongues and you're using tongues as a cover to try and hide your anger. You are a fool. You are in error. Tongues is the language of God from God, and it should not be distributed in an atmosphere that is not conducive for its understanding. Even the Apostle Paul tell y'all, stop doing that unless you have an interpretation in the public. But we use stuff like tongues to exploit how deep we are. It gives us some level of rank so that we could be submitted to the upper echelon of society. So we use these spiritual gifts to gain rank against people. You're a dummy. You're dumb, and whoever taught you that is dumb, and all of you come from a dumb family. It's reckless, it's childish, and it's arrogance at its best that you would use some spiritual gift to try to gain rank over somebody. This is one of the reasons people don't fool with you church folk. I hear it all the time. Terrence, I listen to you because I'm not going to no church. And when I ask them, well, why aren't you going to church? And they explain why. Here's the deal. When they get through explaining to me, I'm thinking, yeah, you will do better off staying at the house. Some of this teaching I hear, some of the conduct of those who are so called to deliver this word are so irresponsible. It's almost better for people to not come to your congregations. And I know there's a group of people that say, well, Pickett, you can't say that about every congregation. And I'm not. Well, why not just lead them to a healthy church? What is a healthy church? Because I believe that every church is sick because it's stained by the people that are there. Some may be more healthy than others. But we use these religious gifts. We use these slogans, these phrases to gain rank on people. And the substratum of faith is love. And James says, if you're not operating in love, your faith doesn't even work. Here's the other thing. We're talking about wisdom, motives, balance. Here's the other thing that you church folk are going to have to overcome. People have found out they can have a relationship with God without coming to your synagogues. Oh, Somebody got to say it. They done found out that all these years you've been preaching, they going to go to hell if they don't come to church. Well, you're on your way to hell because COVID shut your church down. They've been watching church on stream. And they're finding out that they can maintain their walk with God without meeting. And I know most people, when they defend church, they run to the scripture. Forsake not the assembly of thyselves in the matter that some would. That's the first scripture that they run to. Forsake not the assembly. Well, the assembly wasn't talking about a building because they were having churches in tents and houses. So wisdom teaches me to live in my understanding, but always leave the door open to be corrected just in case I'm wrong. And what this does is it enhances my knowledge. It expands the capacity of my understanding because I've not become the judge in my own understanding and ruled out what should be in and ruled in what should be out. So I got ready to turn this desk over. Listen, I was mad. I am going after this girl. I'm about to listen. The desk is up in the air. My brother, Fred Anthony Webster, Amp the Pen on Facebook. He came in and grabbed me. I believe Orion grabbed me, and they were trying to drag me out of the office. But because I had done lost it, because a word triggered this emotion, this is why I'm telling y'all, words are important. Words have the power to influence, even though they don't have the power to create. You do not have creative power with words. You don't. You do have influential power with words. You can influence an emotion. You can trigger certain things. But everything that is created comes from the creator. There's only one God, one faith, and one baptism. You're not a God, so you can't create. If you could create, build your own wealth with your mouth. Well, I did. I was confessing and I got it. No, you confessed and took your butt to work. You invested. You linked up with the right people. That's what brought the increase. Listen, did I turn into the Incredible Hulk? I felt like it. They dragged me out of the office and we worked within it was just a small part of the building, the president's office, and some of the other office. Everything is in close proximity. My office was directly across from her. The president came out. For whatever reason, the president really liked me. All these folk white. And she was yelling, "Get him. Oh, my God, he's trying to kill me." And I'm like, excuse my, well, I won't say that. But basically, don't scream now. But that wasn't the language that I used. It was profane. Yeah, I was born again and I used profanity. Yeah, I did. I violated. I was wrong. But I gave her a cussing that she would remember. And in the moment, I was the aggressor. But it was triggered. By word. This is why we have to be careful what we say and how we say it. And I've been guilty. I had to apologize to somebody last night because they said something that triggered the wrong emotion. And I gave them that emotion. I started out real slow. Hey, excuse me. Hey, that's offensive is how I started out. And they were like, They didn't initially, they didn't offer an apology. They didn't seek to get greater understanding. They were quiet because they say they were listening. So I said it again. Hey, that's offensive. please don't include me in your stereotypes because I'm not any of that. In fact, this is the very first time I've ever even heard what you're talking about. So you can't indirectly pull me into something I have no knowledge of. And they didn't respond the way that I felt they should. Man, I pulled out that sledgehammer. I killed a gnat with a sledgehammer. I went in. When they got through explaining to me the intentions behind their words, I felt bad. I did. I immediately ran to apologize. And I explained to them, I'm really sorry for that. We worked it out. We moved on with the conversation, went to something else. But the wrong word in the right sentence can trigger the wrong emotions. This is why we have to use wisdom in what we say. We have to have balance in what we do. Nikki Mitchell, what it is, little lady. Gary Randolph, what up, bro? What it is, dog. Woo! From their perspective, I should have sought understanding to figure out what motive or the center of their heart behind what they said. From my perspective, you should have used different words. So what we had to do, because both of us were right in our own y'all excuse me one second. Well, okay, I'm gonna finish this thought so I don't lose this idea. Both of us were right in our own understanding, but we had to give way to wisdom. And I had to listen to what she said and understand her intention. Then she had to hear me and understand what I was saying in regards to what she said. We had to hear each other in order to gain peace. And we did. Now, let me pause and make a parenthetical deviation just for a second to deal with Sean, DJ Oxygen. Ox had a birthday on Sunday. Y'all give it up. Tell Ox happy birthday. So you got to give it up to your homies and you got to show love while they are living. So I just want to pause for a second. Y'all don't know who Ox is. Some of you do, some of you don't. But Ox is he was with Bad Boy Entertainment. He was Biggie Smalls' DJ. So he's a big deal. He's a big deal out there. But you know, we're family. So when people are big deal to the world, they ain't nothing to us. So but I do have to stop and if I can find it. Give me a second here. Listen, invite somebody real quick. It's about to go down because I'm going to dedicate this to DJ Oxygen for his birthday. Okay, I think this is it here. All right, we'll see. If this is not it, I have to find it and share it with you guys later, but I believe this is it. Okay, I did that wrong. Okay, so it's Ox's birthday. It was Sunday past. Let me see.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Okay, that's not it. But anyway, happy birthday, Ox. And I'm really believing God that you'll be able to lose a few pounds for your birthday. He's lost a lot of weight. He was about 800 pounds. He's down to about 300. And let me show y'all how Ox look. He's still a big boy. These is legs. This is body. That's his body right there. And then this is the rest of his body. These is hips. And the rest of this is his body. And this pin that's his legs. But I love that boy. That's my dude. That's my guy. That's my bro. Now I can pick at him, but don't y'all. So make sure y'all say happy birthday, Ox. Say happy birthday, Ox. It's the reason we call him Ox. It's short for oxygen. Anyway, so you have to understand this. There's a seriousness of words. You have to be careful what you say. What you say represents where you are, and a lot of times what we are communicating is not parallel to what's in our heart. So you have to think about what you're going to say, how you're going to use your words, because it affects and influences the climate that you have. Tangita Stacy, good morning. Cassandra Williams Davies, good morning. So your words affect the climate that you're in, and your words influences the response that you get. So you say the wrong thing, even if you have the right intention, you got a bad atmosphere. So we have to use wisdom to create a balance, and this balance comes from wisdom. It's kind of like I had somebody to so someone did some work for me, and they worked for me for about 2 weeks. 1 week they put in their time, and I paid them for that week. Well, the second week they only worked 2 or 3 days, and it was nothing. Well, I said to them, hey, I'm going to pay you for the entire week. The reason I'm going to pay you for the entire week is, we have a little contract that we were going to work for a certain amount of days. Then we were going to take off a week. We're going to work 3 weeks, take off a week. Well, they got beside themselves. And they said some things to me, and their tone was off. And I didn't like it, or neither did I appreciate it. Number one, I have kids older than them. That was the first thing. The second thing is you're not in a seat to be able to tell me nothing working for me on my job with my name, my tools, my transportation. You don't. So I was angered. And even though I had told them, hey, I'm going to pay you for this whole week, they broke their contract with me. They broke their contract. So you breaking the contract, me paying you for this entire week was contingent on you completing the first 3. Well, they didn't complete the first 3, so I'm up under no obligation to give them what I said, because the verbal contract that I made with you was in contingency to you completing. They quit. They left. And then they say, well, I need you to pay me for an entire week. No, you don't. You might not even get what you did do them 2 days. And there was a lot connected to it. Well, it was the tone of what they said that made me change my heart on what I was going to do. So the lesson here is, and I don't care how young you are, you got to teach this stuff to your kids. You got to teach this stuff to your kids, because if they don't have wisdom operating in the workplace, they're going to miss many opportunities, and they're going to have many setbacks because they're going to be out of balance. Wisdom give you balance. Wisdom will tell you when to speak, and wisdom will also tell you when to shut up. Wisdom will tell you don't go in there. And wisdom will also tell you open the door. If we listen to wisdom, a lot of things can be avoided. If we communicate to understand instead of communicating to be heard, we will gain the richness of wisdom in our understanding. Now, I'm going to digress. Did you all get anything out of this morning? Talk back to me. Put it in the comments. I need to see it, because I'm going to edit it. I'm going to edit this particular show, and I'm going to send it to another show who's been wanting some of my work. Did you all get anything out of this? If you did, put it in the comments. Tell me what you got too. Besides, ox have little legs. I'm waiting for you all to put something in the comments. Tell me what you got out of this morning's session of Coffee Time. While you all are doing that, let me thank you again. I've already said thanks before to all of you that gave and sponsored the video recording. Michelle, good morning, Michelle. Michelle said, your friends are strong people. Well, Michelle, you're right. But let me also tell you this. I have to be strong with my friends. They get me all the time. I know it doesn't look like it, but listen, Ox got me the other night. I told him, I vow to you, I'm going to get you back until the day I die. I made a covenant, but they get me all the time. They throw rocks and hide their hands. Mine is just, anyway. So I'm looking and I'm reading, let's see. Tanyita Stacy says, I've been told it's easier to get more bees with honey than vinegar. That's right. There's that tone and timing. The two crucial components for communication is tone and timing. That's good. My brother Gary Randolph says, yes, speaking wisdom and love, not out of anger, meaning don't let your emotions take the ball. You be in control and quarterback. You control the atmosphere and the climate with not just what you say, but how you say it. Tasha Renee says, yes. What? Yes, you won $1 million. Yes, you hit the lottery. Yes, you got something out of this. Yes, Oxygen has tiny legs. Yes, A-Train hairline is receding. What are you saying yes to, Tosh? All right. Tanyita Stacy says the word, I like this. I like when you all talk back. I do. The word in Proverbs says, an offended brother is harder to win than a strong city. You know, what's interesting that you bring up that scripture, I did a teaching on that because there's a group of people who believe that you can create stuff with your mouth. They think you can have the God kind of faith. And I dealt with all that. And that was one of the scriptures that I used because that scripture leads into death and life is in the power of the tongue. It does. It's talking about offense. It's talking about our ability to create climates, not create things from our words. So that's good, Tangita. Nicole S. says wisdom is the principal thing. There you go. Communicating to understand and not just to be heard. So that's what you were saying. Yeah. Okay. That's good, Tasha Renee. That's real good. You know, so let me throw this out there. I believe God impressed on my heart to start a cyber sanctuary. With this cyber sanctuary, eventually we would meet up and congregate, fellowship in person once this COVID stuff died down. So we launched a cyber sanctuary. It's called Encounter. You know, when we do the Encounter Live, our midweek Encounter Bible study is on Thursday nights, which is tonight at 7:30. And we meet in the cyber sanctuary Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. So if you're interested in either one of those, please make sure you tune in, join us. We take a walk through the word. No games, no gimmicks. We're not lining you up to prophesy to you and tell you what God's going to do for you if you get in the $1,000 line. We don't do none of that stuff. In fact, we speak against it. But if you would like to be a part of that, inbox me. If not, just show up tonight, 7:30, same channel, same place. We're on YouTube as well as Facebook. For those of you that are on YouTube, I looked at the YouTube numbers. Let me tell you something. You YouTube people, y'all rock. This is for y'all. Yeah. I appreciate you YouTubers. Those of you that do not have a YouTube account, but you follow us no matter the platform, I'm grateful to you, and I urge you to get a YouTube account. More and more, I'm telling y'all, the day's going to come. We're only going to be on Facebook for about 30 seconds just to tell y'all, hey, come to YouTube, because that's our platform. They give us more liberties on YouTube. I can play music. There's a little more freedom there, and I'm not censored the way that I am on Facebook. Nothing against Facebook. Their rules and policies are their rules and policies. But YouTube gives me more liberty, and YouTube says that they're going to pay me. So I need you all, when you're on YouTube, to communicate, talk back, share my YouTube channel with your friends. Make sure you hit the bell so you'll know when we are on live. My Encounter family, I love you more than words can say. You're the reason that I do what I do. For all of you and your support, it is greatly appreciated. I'm appreciative, and your faithfulness and support is appreciated. And it goes beyond words. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. To all of you who help with the recording, thank you so much. Give yourself a great big round of applause. Yeah. Come on. You deserve it. Come on. So I spoke with the engineers on yesterday. We're doing everything within our power to have this project completed by July, which means it should be out mid-August, mid-September, maybe even October. The project should be out. We made a decision on yesterday to combine the project we did last year with this year. Certain parts are going to be included just to make it even better for your listening enjoyment. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for your financial support. Thank you for for tuning in. As of now, we looked at the numbers. About 3,000 people have watched that concert. That's amazing. Now, if you really love it, go ahead and get this week out now, because it's coming down on Sunday. We're going to leave it up for 2 weeks, but we're taking it down. It'll be up for 1 week, so go ahead and enjoy it. We're taking it down, and we're packaging the video. We're going to give it to our supporters free. To others, we're selling it, and the CD will be on all digital outlets, and you'll be able to get a hard copy as well. Now, we were able to do this because of your support. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you. There's so much that I want to say. Edith Hodges, where you at? I saw you jump on here. Good morning, Edith. Everybody say good morning, Edith. Say good morning, Edith. Tell her. Tell her. Mm-hmm. Tell her. Tell her good morning. Yeah. All right. So thank you all for your full support. For our monthly partners, for those of you that give and sponsor what we do, thank you so much. There are many more projects we're going to do. We're going to take a break from some of these projects just because I need to rest. I need to get this album out. But if you're a part of our monthly sponsorship team, you can give to the Sponsor Call for Time. If you're not a partner, you want to be, you can do it. Say, hey, I'm not a monthly partner, but I do want to give. I like what you do. I want to support it, not just by my presence, but I want to support it financially. You can give right there. It's $sponsor coffee time. And your whatever you give is greatly appreciated. You want to bless us with $10,000 today? That's on your heart. Go ahead and do it. You say, well, $10,000 is too much to give through the Cash App. Sell me. Inbox me. I'll give you my information, or I will meet you in person. Maybe you say, I want to give $100,000. Or, you know what? Terrence, since you're courageous and you're bold in your courage, I want to give you $75 million. I'll take that. And I'm serious. Inbox me. I'll meet you so we can get that taken care of, okay? Everybody, thank you for your love, your support. You say, hey, I don't have 75 million, 300 million, or a billion, but I do want to do something. Then give as much as you can to help support what we're doing. It's on the screen. $Sponsor Call for Time. You say, well, I used to be a monthly partner, but I'm not anymore, but it's been in my heart, and I'm going to be giving. Communicate it. Inbox me. I love that as well. All right. So thank you for your time. Without your ears, I don't have a voice. You make this possible. I'm glad God chose us to do life together. Remember, you were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom on the inside of you is not able to handle. But in order for wisdom to speak, you've got to get out of the way, use emotional intelligence, trust God, and be quiet. Let wisdom speak. When wisdom speaks, you will always win. Go have a productive day, and always remember to think higher, speak life. I've enjoyed my time with you. See you tonight, 7:30, Encounter Live right here. I wish that you would bring a few people with you. We're going to walk through the word. Hey, I love you guys. I really do. I appreciate you. Thank you for helping us win. I believe with all my heart that God's going to do great things in you and with you and through you. It's important that you don't give up. It's important and imperative that you continue in this fight of faith. I know there's a lot of things working against you. Doesn't look like things are working with you. But you got to believe that there's a greater plan for you. And that's why there's opposition against you. I love you. Thank you so much. Keep it right here.
Coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right. In my life, it's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on, coffee time, coffee time. In my life, coffee time, coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.